I think it's backwards.
Kind of, sort of. You have it facing the.
I'm working on it.
Ooh,
Oh, here
hey,
we are.
How you doing?
We're there.
Maybe Tyler should have stayed there. Oh my god.
All right, so hold on. They can hear you as soon as they. Let's see here. Victoria goes live.
It's mess with me, I swear to God.
Love you, dear, but that's
Ooh,
not
I
very
gotta-
flattering light on your face.
I gotta disconnect. I gotta disconnect the sync. Get that
Is
off.
this Facebook or is this?
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
on Facebook. All right, go ahead and check.
Yep.
Check.
Check.
Yep. Flattering light on your face.
Oh man.
Live. Live.
Yeah, just
We're live.
share.
Great.
Copy link. On Facebook. All right, so there's that. Now I go to here. Paste. And let's go to that. The beauty of it is right now. All right, I'm gonna hit the record button here. We'll start in a minute. All right, so that's recording. Did you turn the lights off back there?
How do we get rid of that and keep yours on?
Yeah,
Do
just
your-
like that.
Do your overhead off.
Are you? Go ahead.
No.
No,
No, you got it up there, honey. That's you.
that's because the rear left door is ajar. Rear left door. Better?
Ooh, I disappeared.
All
Ooh,
right.
that was
I like that. It's perfect.
There we go. You better? Oh, that's totally.
so much
okay.
better.
We are live now. ... And share. Okay. So, honey, I'm gonna give you this. Check.
Yep.
Go ahead and mute that guy. And there, you can monitor comments and whatnot.
Do what with those?
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I don't know why I'm whispering to Akron's hottest and fastest growing show, 330 to Go. I'm your host, Hank Forrester, coming to you live from somewhere in northern Summit County. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's 11:05 right now. And so tonight we're out on location. And the term we used earlier was Helltown, but we're going to work on discussing that tonight. Formerly, this is known as Boston, Ohio. Now it's literally in between what you would call Richfield, Boston Heights, and Peninsula. So snuggled right into that area. And we are literally about, I don't know, I'd say driver or 3-wood pitching wedge away from Boston Mill Ski Resort. So that gives you an idea of where we're at in Summit County. So first, right now, we've got a special guest here with us this evening. So I'd like everyone to meet Joy.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks, Hank.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
No problem. Thanks for being on. So, folks, this is Joy Mitchell, and she's the owner. And let me say this correctly: it's Rockstar Rock Shop. Is that
Rockstar
correct?
Rock Shop, yep.
Okay, and you guys are based down in Canton.
Canton South.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you say south, so we know like where Route 62 is, like, and where the Hall of Fame is. So where are you in relation to that?
About 5 minutes south. Just keep going 77 south. Get off at 800. Do you know where Thurman Munson Stadium is?
I do.
Okay, so I'm right behind there in the AAA storage units.
Okay, very
It's
nice.
a warehouse.
Okay. So tell us about the store. I mean, how long you guys been around? I read, I haven't been there yet, and we plan on fixing that in the near future.
Yeah.
Okay. But what's the story behind the store?
So it's a family-owned business. We're in year 5. We do a lot of festivals, local festivals, Yankee Peddler, Great Trail, things of that sort.
Okay.
I have a warehouse, like I said, in Canton South. Most of our business, though, is done online. Rockstar Rock Shop. We have a Facebook page, rockstarrockshop.com. I also have a community group online. Most of our business is done that way.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, when's the last time we were at Yankee Peddler? Kate. Say hi to Kate, everybody. That's the little
when
creeper
you
in the
got-
back seat right there.
When you got sick.
Was it 3 or 4 years ago? How long you been going to Peddler?
4 years.
Okay,
Yep.
so there's a chance that we may have seen her at some point. You think it was
No,
longer ago?
Addie's 3.
Okay.
So it was like when
Before
Wyatt
that?
was
Okay.
Wyatt was Addie's
Well,
age.
there's a chance we've seen you. I don't know, but so how'd you end up in that line of work? Where'd that come from?
So my family, we collected crystals, stones, pretty much my whole life. Especially my brother, he was just fascinated, always bringing them home, always digging them up, and my mom would help him clean them up. And he kind of just gifted us all with crystals, and he just kind of came with this knowledge of the healing capabilities of them. I didn't really tap into that though until I was an adult. And I was kind of in a, stalemate with my job situation, and we just decided that it wasn't a hobby anymore. Both of us, me and my brother, and we decided to just make a go of it. And we took both of our, I went and took a certified class to become a crystal healer, and I loved it so much. Like, I just absorbed everything that I learned, and I loved it. I mean, it was just it totally changed my entire life, my entire way of thinking. I had this ridiculous, kind of spiritual awakening where everything changed. I just didn't fit in anymore. You know what I mean? It was just this weird place to be, and the crystals kind of helped me tune into a different way of living, just a more holistic lifestyle. And I don't know, it just stuck.
Well, it's interesting. You and I had talked. Gail says hi. So
Hi, Gail.
Hi, Gail. You and I have talked, briefly leading up to this, and we are both Christians, right?
Yes.
And how does that work in terms of that correlation? How do you tie that in together?
So, and I had a lot of resistance from a lot of people in my life that crystals weren't a Christian way to be, and that they were that there was some sort of, I don't want to say satanic thing around it, because there's not, but people just didn't realize that God places these crystals all around us for the healing capabilities. And as we speak right now, I have a workshop going about the gemstones of Revelation, and just studying the gemstones of the Bible. So,
Go ahead.
Are you getting scared?
No, it's not.
Are you scared? You're putting up the windows. You're scared.
I'm
He's
not
scared.
I heard something behind the truck. Okay, I heard.
I mean, we are outside. So
I heard
there might
something
be,
behind the truck. We're
a
fine.
Squirrel or something.
We're good. That's
So,
all. I'm just putting up the windows.
Yeah. All right.
Magnet.
Right.
All right. Keep going.
Learning to utilize the crystals, from a biblical standpoint,
Okay.
has been really, pivotal for me, and I think for others, to see that it's not just all divination. Even though I like to use them for divination in a Christian way, in a holistic way. They've really kind of expanded my mind and helped me to expand other people's mind to, heal themselves naturally, and to understand that everything around us is placed by God and the Creator, and all
Right.
that is, and Source, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Yeah.
How did that all happen? I mean, you said you had an awakening and stuff. So explain that to us.
Yeah. So I don't know. The first one, I've had several, and each one is more confusing and just more groundbreaking, and new gifts emerge. And the first one, I just felt really like, what is going on? Everything was just different. And I know you're going through that a little bit too.
Shh, nobody knows that.
Okay. Well, now they do. Now everybody knows. So I'm sorry I told your secret, but things change, and your whole way of thinking changes, and the whole way you look at life changes. And when you're able to kind of tap into nature and to hear, kind of the mysteries of nature, and work with nature to, live.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's very mysterious, and I'm not the best at articulating this, because I get it and I work with it, but it's like, how do you even explain that?
This will sound goofy. Yeah,
Mhm.
probably. I don't know, maybe. But it's almost like the Force. Kind of.
The Force is with us.
Strong with you? Okay. All right.
I don't know about that, but
All right. So, look, here we are tonight, right? So, what brought you? Why'd you say yes? I mean, I reached out to some people, and
right.
Got a lot of no's.
Oh, so I was like the last person you missed?
No. You were.
I thought I was like the first. I mean, I thought,
You were one of 3.
oh,
and
I was the third.
No, you were. They did it all the same night, right?
Okay.
And you immediately
so I
hopped on.
bet.
And then it's funny, right? Because it's not normal that you do a business call at midnight, right? And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
apparently in our
and,
lives.
and I'm really tired too, mind you, because last night I was up since like 2:00 in the morning. It was
Okay.
the witching hour last night. You know, the veil is so thin right now.
we have.
and-
That was my next question. We're
So
getting there.
last night from like 12 to 4.
I'm right there. Okay.
From like 12 to 4 is
Okay.
like the most intense energy of this whole kind of 3-day period.
Why? Why the night before?
It's All Hallows Eve,
Okay.
and that's just when the veil is so thin and kind of the worlds kind of collide.
To those that don't know, which I'm one of, okay, explain to folks the veil. What is the veil?
So it's literally, the veil is this curtain, the curtain between two realms, two worlds, and ancient cultures say that you could pass between the worlds, and someone get lost,
Okay.
which is kind of scary, but if you know how to work with energy and you know how to work with your own energy, I think that's really key here, that there isn't anything to be afraid of when that veil is so thin. It's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing that you can work with the energy of the other side. And if you have those, loved ones that you're missing so much, you have that opportunity to communicate with them and honor them and cherish them and show them how much they are loved and missed. And you asked me why did I accept this? I lost my husband 2 years ago.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry to hear that.
yes, me too. But a year ago, during this time, I was doing some workshops with my girls live on Facebook, and all of these things started happening. And I wasn't even though the veil's always been very thin for me, I wasn't particularly aware of the cycle of this time of year. I wasn't so tuned in to Samhain or just the harvest and everything like that. The veil's always been thin for me, so it's just a normal thing for me.
Okay.
But during this time, it just kicked up to a whole different level, and I mean, it was you couldn't deny it. Even the girls watching live, you couldn't deny the things that were happening.
Okay.
So
Jeremy, one of our viewers right now, Jeremy runs with Chase, he runs the Oranges, Oranger Browns podcast, if you ever heard of them. He just said he's legit scared right now. Jeremy, we haven't even done anything yet, man.
You shouldn't be scared.
It's because you see Kate sitting in the back right there. She looks all creepy with all the ambient light back there.
Listen, Jeremy, it's not going to be scary because we're not going to bring anything creepy into this situation. We are, it's all light. It's all good. It's all positive energy. It's just all what you make of the energy. So if you go into something scared, you're going to be scared.
And I'm trying to hold it together, Jeremy. I came up here earlier and I had a really nice talk with a lot of the Rangers and a lot of the folks around this area. Which, you remember the haunted house episode from Hudson, I'm a wuss, right? So, but right now I'm fine. Everything's cool. And we're just talking energy right now. Okay.
He's got his diaper on.
Kate said I got my diaper on. All right, so with the veil thing, all right, so when you realized that you were gifted per se, how did you do more research? I mean, it's not like you could go down to the gym and work it out, right? I mean, how do you?
It's funny that you say that because
how do you hone that?
Everything is a practice, and there's practice in that too. And I have been able to practice my gift all year long. I host these live workshops, and lucky for me, I got to do that all year long with people that supported my gift, and it did increase. And doing it live, I mean, that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we do everything live here,
right?
So
and it was fun, and it was an exercise, and I can sort of tap into that a little easier.
Well, tell people, how do they find that? Where is that? The website?
So it's on. I have just a private group. If I run workshops, I advertise them on my Facebook page, so Rockstar Rock Shop on Facebook.
Okay.
There is a private community page called Rockstar Rock Shop Starlets that you can ask to join. I run all sorts of sales on there. And there's a bunch of different healers, Janine being one of them, that, kind of share their gifts on that page. And any healers is free to, kind of advertise themselves, share what they're doing, and, just collaborate.
Okay. All right. Well, to our viewing audience, I noticed we've been fluctuating between 8 to 15 at one point in terms of people watching. So go ahead and share this live now, because we're going to start getting now into more of the region. So thank you so much, Joy, for sharing your story. Before we go on, is there anything else that you wanted to include?
I'd love to have you join me on Facebook.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, just reach out to me there. And
that's Joy Mitchell with Rockstar Rock Shop. So look that up, folks. All right. So right now we're going to get into more of the region now. So here we are. We're in Boston Mills. Okay. It's Boston, Ohio. And it has this nickname that hasn't left it for 35, 40 years. And it's called Helltown. Okay. And when I said that today in the Ranger shop, they all cringed at me, because the problem is what this does is it encourages people to come down here and do things that they shouldn't be doing, right? And it's this whole region. So I'm going to read real quick. I'm going to read this little part, and then I'm going to start driving to where we're going to go, and I'll let either Kate or Joy read the history behind the location, okay? First of all, Helltown, they said it's a dark, foreboding place where ghosts, cults, and serial killers all lurk. It's an entire town cursed and frighteningly dangerous after dark. Of course, this was all through the ghostsofohio.org group, and they're like, well, we got to investigate this place. And what they found was actually very interesting, and they literally debunked every ghost myth and legend that this town and this whole area purported, okay? So we're going to just kind of drive around and take a look at one of the locations, and maybe two, while we're down here. But the one thing I wanted to point out, I worked today with the parks to get permission for us to do this. I forgot to turn off notifications, didn't I? I worked with the parks today to get permission to do this. Okay, so they said go ahead, but they wanted to point out specifically that this region, there are people all that live here in this region. Okay, the park itself is open 24 hours a day, so you can go anywhere you want in the park at any time. So if you want to look around and poke around and hunt around and check things out, you're welcome to do so. But they want to make sure that you understand that trespassing is trespassing if you go on people's property. And that's where the lines get crossed when it comes to this whole area. Now, the Helltown name literally comes from firefighters back in the 70s and 80s. And this is all, from this point forward, everything that we're going to say is speculation and hearsay with some history sprinkled in, and it's up for you guys to sort it all out, okay? So I'm not going to try and create things that don't exist, and I'm not going to try and expand on myths or legends that may or may not be true. That's not why we're here tonight. We're just going to take a look, and if Joy feels something, then you'll see me wreck the truck, all right? But for right now, we're in my Ford F-150, which we know those are the safest vehicles on the road, and we're going to go for a little jaunt right now, okay? So I'm going to hand this over to you, or who wants to read this? All right, so Joy, so we're at location history, and let me I'm going to flip this around.
Flip
Put
the
this
camera.
right here. I'll flip the camera. All right. And let's hit that button right there. Right? Boink. All right. And away we go. Into the darkness in the woods. All right.
Into the woods.
Go ahead.
All right. Helltown is a nickname given to the northern part of Summit County. The areas most often associated with the Helltown legends are Boston Township and Boston Village, as well as portions of Sagamore Hills and Northfield Center Townships. These areas are often combined into one large region, which is commonly referred to as Boston Mills. Settled in 1806, Boston stands as the oldest village in Summit County. The first mill was built in the village in the early 1820s. Several years later, the construction of the Ohio and Erie Canal brought more people to Boston, and over the next few decades, mills began to flourish in the area. most notably a paper mill. When a railroad station was constructed in the town in the early 1880s, the station was named Boston Mills in reference to the paper mill.
Is your seatbelt on? Go ahead and do that because it's going to start. He'll start dinging before it's do that. Can you hear me, honey, while I'm talking?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting when I did the research that this is the oldest town in Summit County.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So-
Did you grow up skiing here?
What's up?
Did you ski here?
I've skied at Boston Mills, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, go ahead. In fact,
All
take,
right.
take that first paper and just toss it off. There you go. Wait till you see this road.
In the late 1960s, a nationwide movement began the expressed concern over the destruction of our forests. In response, President Ford signed legislation in 1974 that enabled the National Park Services to purchase land and use it to create national parks. On December 27, 1974, hundreds of acres of land, including some within the township of Boston, were officially designated a national recreation area. Many people did not realize that this legislation gave the federal government the power to use the right of eminent domain to acquire land from private owners in order to clear the way for the national park. But almost immediately after the bill was passed, the government began purchasing houses throughout Boston Township and the surrounding area. Once the government decided to buy a property, there was no negotiation involved. The owners were forced to relocate. Residents began leaving in droves, and entire townships were swallowed up by the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. These events were so tragic that they were featured in the 1983 PBS documentary For the Good of All. Perhaps the general feelings of the displaced homeowners were best summed up in a statement found scrawled across the wall of a vacated home. Now we know how the Indians felt. Okay, so this is the origin of the legends. Once the government bought a house, it was boarded up and covered with U.S.-issued no trespassing signs. The house sat vacant until the government could arrange for it to be demolished. Some of the houses were intentionally burned as training exercises for local fire departments.
And that's what I was talking about. So what would happen would be entire areas would literally disappear. So they'd be there 1 week, then they all get burned down, and people would drive by a week later, and the whole area was gone.
That's crazy.
And we watched that documentary yesterday, and we actually saw people that we knew in the documentary. By the way, am I the only one that felt you?
I'm okay. I'm used to this. See, for me, this is normal. So
you're not.
I'm not phased.
You're not phased, but
No.
I'm. Kate.
I'm just here.
Okay. Am I? So I'm not the only one that feels that, right?
I'm just aware. I think we're okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna flip it back to us. All right. I'm just. So we're at. Let me read the plaque. I know I went and photographed this place earlier. We're at one of the houses, and I don't even know if we're allowed to be here. I don't know if I was clear on this one. Hopefully she's not watching. Doesn't
Do
get
you want
mad
to get
at
out?
me. I don't want
Do
to
you
get
want to
out.
walk around? I think that you want to walk around.
Not right now.
I
Not
think
this.
we should.
Not this second. Not this second.
I knew.
Not this second. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. With hundreds of homes being purchased in such a short period of time, the government quickly fell behind schedule in tearing them down, and it was not uncommon to drive down a street and find several boarded up houses sitting next to the burned out remains of others. To a passing motorist unaware of the events taking place in the area, it might easily have seemed as if an entire town had mysteriously disappeared into thin air. This is how rumors began.
All right, so we'll bring up the visitor center later. So that's the history, right? But and this is all speculation on my part, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of these things that came to be were brought up by the residents that were angry that were being removed.
Right.
So it's like, oh yeah, well, F you.
Right.
I'm going to start telling ghost stories about this place, and nobody's ever going to want to come here, right? Okay, so I mean, I'm on fire right now. Are you?
You're just nervous because you know.
It's
nothing.
not that I'm nervous, but I came here earlier today, and I was by myself, and you know me, I'm a wuss. And I stood right outside the truck right here, and I heard, I don't know, what would be the sound of like a bird, some kind of a bird, like a bat bird, like shriek little thing. And it was one over there and one over there. And then like, forget that, got right back in the truck and drove away. Okay. So I'm going to flip it here. I don't know what it is that we're looking at. It looks like a, hey, let's do this here. Button. Okay. Let me turn the lights on, I guess. Can they see it?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know what that is. It's some sort of a, I don't know. You tell me.
Do you want to get out?
I guess we'll get
It
out.
looks like a little shed, just like
Is it a
tool
shed? Is it a shack? Is it a?
Do these go with us?
No. So this is where I'm gonna just go straight to the phone. So I'll take the phone.
I thought you were gonna take the.
The recorder will pick up. So I'll just kind of leave it open. All right. So if I unplug the phone here, anybody watching, tell me if you could still hear us. Honey, give me a flashlight, I guess.
Here, you want the little one or the big one?
I guess the little one. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I dropped my case. All right. You got that little flashlight, honey?
Yes, I do.
All right. You got the big one? All right, so we're going to take a look. Brian, can you hear us? Okay. So this is back on one of the properties. And, okay, yeah. So it's just man, I'm on fire right now. Like, and I know it's because I'm a wuss. It's because I'm a wuss. It looks just like a wood shed. I don't know how old is this structure? Is it newer or older? Is it fake old or is it old?
I think it's fake old.
I think it's fake old
fake
too.
old.
I mean, it looks fake old. You got tin, right?
Yeah.
So, but the problem is we're back in the woods here by
There's
this
a
place.
broom.
I know. So, as soon as we pulled on this property, I didn't feel good. Okay, and I'm not trying to perpetuate things here, right? So,
Okay, so
talk to me.
the energy you feel,
Yes.
like how can you transform that? Because the energy in here is not bad.
Okay.
So what you're picking up on is just energy, period. And
Right.
because it's new to you,
Right.
it feels scary.
Okay.
So how can you take that and get rid of your fear
Okay.
and transform that? Because this isn't Helltown, like you said, it was Helltown because it was all being burnt down, and
Sure.
and the locals, they were mad because they were being driven out.
Okay.
I mean, how can you take the fear you're having of just this abandoned place and the energy you're picking up on and transform that?
Okay.
Because guess what? When you are scared, you pick up on low vibey stuff. So low vibey energies are going to be attracted to you like a magnet,
I think a lot of it is when you feel something and you're afraid and you don't know what to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So what's up, Kate? What's going on?
But that fear puts you in that low vibratory state. So all that low vibratory,
So what do you do with it?
you've got to find a way to transform it. You've got to pull yourself out. You've got to dig your way out. You have got to tell yourself that, the forces that work for you are greater than the forces that work against you.
Okay.
And believe it and align with that type of energy.
Okay. All right, well then let's go on back. We're going to head on back down and we'll go out into the field area, and that's
The structure seems creepier from the outside than when you're actually.
No, it felt I felt much worse by the house. Like right now. Standing right here, every freaking hair in my everything is standing up right here. Right here. Okay? What? That's not funny. Okay? Duh. Where'd he go? We lost one. We lost one of our party. He's over there. Okay. I don't know, man, that tree. What is up with that tree?
Oh goodness!
Oh, okay.
You've seen one too many horror movies.
I know. It's just my imagination, or not, right?
Well, no, it's not your imagination. You're picking up on energy and you feel it. And,
Okay.
and it's real.
All right, I'm gonna hit this button. Lorson, if you're watching, tell me if you can still hear after this, or Gail. All right, so I just put that back in. All right, let's flip this around here.
See these a second. See
What Gail said.
She said crystals will help
Yep.
raise your
Yes.
vibrations.
Exactly.
So what does that exactly mean?
So,
Yeah, explain it.
like
Back on
for
the mic now.
instance, I'm gonna show you crystals that I brought
Okay.
with me purposely.
I'm just making sure I got all my stuff. You got the phone, honey?
Uh-huh.
So,
all right.
ironically enough,
Here, use your mic. We're back on mic now. Think. Tell me if this works, Brian. Gail, can you hear us? Okay.
So trees retain energy too?
oh yeah, trees too. Everything in nature does. But earlier this week, when I was getting ready to do this workshop that I'm doing right now, and it's a celebration of life workshop, but it's to honor, those that have gone before us, honor our ancestors and whatnot. I found this giant piece of chevron amethyst, and that's not a crystal I usually work with.
Okay.
But of course, it made me do more research into it, and I knew it was good for, concentration and focus and memory and whatnot, but it particularly is good for this time of year and for when the veil is so thin, it's very protective. And
Isn't an amethyst a birthstone?
yes, but this is different. This is a chevron amethyst. It's a little different. It's got the combination of the
Keep going. Hi, everybody. We're still here. Sorry. Live TV.
it's got the like high vibe energy and frequency of the quartz, but the protection and intuitive capabilities of the amethyst.
Okay.
So it's particularly good for this time of year. And, so that's raising your vibration. You tune into the crystal, you align your energy with the crystal. Some people will align their energy with, trees, like you were saying, and plants and whatnot. I particularly seem to work well with crystals. Spirit knows that I understand to work with a crystal, and I know how to match my energy to a crystal.
Go ahead and show everybody if they can see it on cam.
So these were hand polished in my shop. They're really pretty. It's kind of getting lost in the light, but.
Okay. So what?
But I brought them for protection.
Okay.
Just in case, even though I'm saying I'm not afraid, because I'm not at this point. I was like you. And guess what? When I had this big awakening, I was so afraid.
Feel it again right there.
I was so afraid that I would sit up at night and I would never sleep. I would just watch the energy go. I would listen to it. I would hear it. I would feel it. I kept my kids up. I kept my now late husband up, who would get so mad at me that he would actually put me outside of the room and lock the door because he couldn't sleep. And he would just get to a point where he was like, just, go. And now it's funny because ironically, he's on the other side of this.
Well, how did that work? Honey, can you still hear me because the mic's down?
Kind of.
How did that work with when all that happened? Did things change for you? Did they get more intense?
I really isolated myself for a long time and just.
And by the way, if you don't want to answer any
Oh
of
no,
these
no,
questions,
I'm good.
Just
Most anybody that knows me knows these stories, and I'm happy to share because guess what? It's a lot of people are going through this right now. There's a big shift happening in general. I see it all over the place, and I think everybody could agree that times are changing and people are changing their perspective about life and how they want to live, and there's just a giant shift happening, and it's confusing and it's scary, and I think you do need to isolate yourself a little bit and kind of ground yourself and get to know yourself a little bit better and know your own energy so that you're not taking in everybody else's. Because like right now, you're absorbing the energy around you. And I've learned to put kind of a bigger shield around myself at this point and not absorb all of that as much.
And it's funny you say that because my friends tease me, right? Because I have a tendency to focus on negative energy.
Yeah.
And I have a tendency, they call me Kermit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So like when anything happens at all, I immediately, I don't want to say overreact,
Mm-hmm.
but my reactions are very intense, and very, I don't want to say they're honey, they're not panicky.
Yes.
They're not panicky.
Yes.
The panicky is the wrong word. It's just I want to be so in control of every situation that when I'm not in control,
I know it's
that's
so
when
hard.
that's when I just explode, you know? So, okay. Well, let's head on back here now. I mean, we'll take a little walk for a couple and then we'll go to sign off here in a little bit. Yeah, I'm not feeling anything right now. I feel calm. But that being where we were right by that tree like that was really, really weirdly intense for me. So,
And I think it's important though that, you are tuned into that. You are feeling the energy. It's just like what you're going to do with it. Like, how can you work with that energy? Because there's always going to be negative energy wherever you're at,
okay.
All
right, I got my little lantern here. Everybody's got their flashlights. All right, we're going on regular. I think it was really nice of Mother Nature to cooperate and stop raining for us. So let's turn this guy off. We're gonna take a walk. Got my little lantern. Everybody got their flashlights.
You gonna hide here?
You just gonna hang out? Okay. All right.
I got the car key if I need it.
Honey, go ahead and take this, please.
Why don't I come around and
All right, let's get the recorder. We're gonna take the recorder with us to just for ambient sound. We'll undo the mics. Here, hold this, honey. Honey, hold that. You got it? Come on. Got it? Got it? All right. We'll turn this off. We're still live, I believe. All right. You good? I'm gonna go ahead and shut. All right. Take a walk. We're gonna watch your step here. Right there, right there.
And water?
Right, no, right. Yeah. Let me turn this one off. We're still recording. We still live, honey?
I'm just trying to find the best light to have
Best
you guys
light?
in.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're Red Bulling and walking. All right. Okay. Honey, can you see us?
Kinda.
Are you close enough to hear us?
I don't. Probably not.
See if people are responding that they can hear us.
Can't hear or see you. Okay.
Right.
Well, this is not going to be that easy because of the.
All right. Can they hear now?
right, so what do you focus on?
Don't know.
Sounds of the talk?
No, she's not going to be able to hear you because I can barely hear. I don't know how you want to do this. Can you?
Turn the volume up.